Now, sometimes we all want to fit in, and because like we don't want to be, we don't want to stand, we don't want to, stand, quote unquote, stand out sometimes because that might not be the latest trend of this generation. But if you try to create a false image of yourself, it's only going to hurt you in the long run even more because you're trying to fit, you're trying to fit this identity that you give out to people that makes it seem like it's perfect for them, and that's where we go wrong. We try to fit in, we try to be a part of everything that's going on, but we shouldn't really like destroy our own selves in order to be approved by somebody else. We really shouldn't just change our own life because somebody says that's not how I thought you would be. And that's just, yes, it's hard to like really to be like to stand out, but that's like usually like where it comes in because standing out is not easy because you're gonna when it comes to just being just when it comes to just being yourself sometimes it can really one being yourself just gives you the most happiness because you want to be who you want to be and you don't really care on what anybody else says. Now that can go two ways. It can go a good way and it can go a bad way. But obviously, we're gonna look at it in the good way, and you just be yourself. You do the things that make you happy. You do the things that you enjoy. You do the things that might be different from what somebody else might do, but it's what you enjoy and it's just who you want to be. But if you try to create an image of yourself to other people that fits in with what they think, but it goes completely opposite of what you want to do, you know? And um, if you create this false image because you don't want to be disliked by somebody. And that's like the big thing that we all need to accept is we don't have to be accepted by everybody. It's the only person that we need to be accepted by is Jesus Christ. We don't need to be accepted by man because what do we have going if we just live our life by trying to please man? We're not gonna get nowhere. It's only gonna lead us into it's only gonna lead us more down the wrong path. It's only gonna it's gonna hurt us more because now we're creating this false image of ourselves to other people, even though we're very uncomfortable being in this situation. But like we create this false image just to be liked by other people. But in Romans 12, there's a plane flying by. Um, I don't know what it says fully, but it says in Romans 12, 1 to 2, it says, "Do not be conformed to the things of this world." Like we shouldn't be like be a part of this world. We're a part of the world, but we shouldn't be of the world. We shouldn't do the things of the world. We shouldn't do things that might be very common in today's society. We shouldn't be a part of that. We should be set apart. Because the Bible tells us to be sanctified, to be set apart, to be different. We shouldn't create an image of ourselves that one we don't even like. If we don't want to go hang out every weekend, with go out and hang out overnight, pull an all nighter every Friday night, and if we don't, one, we want to do it because we want to be approved by somebody. We want to hang out with somebody. We want to be approved. We want to be liked by somebody. But at the end of the day, if we don't want to do it, why are we doing it? You know, why are we creating an image of us to other people, even though we're very uncomfortable even being that type of person that someone quote unquote wants us to be? You know, just don't just live your own life. You know, just live. If you if you just continue to live a life on someone else's approval, that's you're not going to find who you really are deep down inside. You're not going to find that because now you're seeking approval from everybody else. Like, hey, do I want to do this? And I want to do this and this. But then someone else says, no, you shouldn't do that. You should do this instead. If you just keep seeking approval by somebody else, how are you going to make your own decisions in your own life? You know, if you're just going to keep relying on someone else's opinion to build what you should be, then that's not who you really are going to be. You know, I worded that a little bit different, but that's just basically just how it is sometimes. Because we shouldn't be creating a false image of ourselves. We should just follow the path that God made us to be. You know, just follow who God made us to be, who He wants us to be. We shouldn't be trying to seek approval from somebody else and what they think that we should be. Because that's not gonna get us far. That's not gonna get us anywhere. But it's only gonna get us to what someone else's plan has. That makes sense. Like if we're gonna keep following what someone else has to say about us, our life is going to be what they created an image of what we are, rather than an image and that we personally create ourselves. And that's just something that like I just wanted to hop on here and talk about, you know, because we all like to create an image of ourselves in order to we like to create an image of ourselves on what we should be in order to be accepted by everybody else. And that's just like one thing because fear of missing out is a big thing that a lot of us may fall into sometimes. Like, hey, I want to be a part of something, you know, but I'm not really comfortable being a part of it, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And then once you do it, and now you're just lost, and now you're struggling with something and with something that you personally put yourself into, even though you didn't have to do that in the first place. But yeah, this is really like a big thing that a lot of us struggle with. You know, we just like to struggle with fear of missing out because we don't want to because we want to follow the latest trend. You know, that's just something that like a big thing a lot of us like to do. You know, try to follow the latest trend, even though it may be different of what we want to do. But you know, we want to do it anyway, and that's just where the problem is. That's where the problem really roots itself because now we're trying to seek on what other people because we care about what other people think about us, and that's just where you go wrong because how are you going to live a life if you're only just trying to find other people's approval? You know, it's just something that a lot of us really struggle with sometimes. I've struggled with it sometimes. Maybe you have as well. But at the end of the day, you know who you are, but nobody else knows who you really are deep down. Unless you told them everything, you know, then that might, then that might be different. But yeah, this is really it, man. Hope this video was, you know, a little bit inspirational to you now. Don't create a false image of yourself in order to be accepted by everybody else. You know, that's like the big thing I want to talk about. And that's the end of the video. If you made it this far, I love you, but Jesus loves you more. I see y'all next video.